Morning. Welcome to the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment's Division of Unemployment Insurance's first of a series of webinars focused on previewing our new and improved premiums and wage reporting system known as MyUI Employer Plus. Great to have everyone here today. We have a panel of experts. Joining me in today's presentation is Julie Primo, our project manager on this new and exciting project. We will be walking through some of the new features and functionality within the new system and really want to provide enough time at the end for you to answer or ask any questions that you may have. And this will be recorded and shared out with all participants following today's webinar. Next slide, please. Great. So on our agenda today, a history of our very outdated legacy premium and wage reporting system and why we are long overdue for modernization. Again, we will preview some of the new features and functionality within the new system and also highlight additional ways to connect with us. And as I said at the end, have an opportunity to get to your questions. So please utilize the Q&A function to drop in your questions, and all of the questions we hope to get to today with some answers. If we don't, we will post the answers online on our website and or a follow-up to all participants. So real quick preview about our current UI premium and wage system in Colorado. This is a very outdated, long overdue for modernization system, about 40 years old. With outdated technology comes the inability to reprogram, the flexibility to sustain our programs during times of economic downturns. Our new system will provide us with this greater responsiveness, greater agility. We've to date have very broad employer support for this modernization effort. During the pandemic, we modernized the benefit side of our systems known as MyUI Plus, and this will complement that modernization effort and provide a lot of new features and functionality, which we will showcase today. So a few quick highlights about the new system, and then I will turn it over to my colleague. Easier premium payments, greater self-service overall, streamlined account management, and really having the ability for an employer to utilize much more functionality that's currently available in our systems. Also some improved customer service features, which we don't have available today. So to get into the details, I will turn it over to my colleague, Julie. Julie, take it away.
Thank you, Cher, and welcome everyone. I am thrilled to be able to give you a little bit more insight into what we've been working on. We've been heads down in the project bubble, and so we're really excited to be able to showcase some of the things that we've built in to make your lives easier so that you can do business better with us. Next slide, please. First, an easier way to pay premiums. Simple payments, fewer reports. We really tried to streamline this for you all. So with the launch of MyUI Employer Plus, employers and TPAs will no longer be required to file separate premium and wage reports with their premium payment. Instead, the premiums will be calculated right there in the system based on the submitted wages and paid directly in your employer MyUI Employer Plus account. So what does this mean? Automatically calculated premiums. You no longer have to do the math yourself and try and figure it out yourself and hope that you're paying the right amount. We're going to be able to take electronic payments right there in the system via EFT. Employers, we do have the option for a non-electronic waiver for those employers who cannot use the system and need to remain to use paper. And that will allow our employer population to submit paper check payments and paper wage reports. We do have a full robust process to get approved for this paper waiver. So you will need to either call or reach out to us if you do need these services and we can get you set up. And what this does, once you're set up, it's good for a year. And then we will send you those paper wage reports that you fill out. So all you have to do is mail it back in. the ability to pay voluntary premium payments, leasing company certification fees, and reimbursable employer securities all electronically within the system. You can search and view employer payment history. There's a lot of different information that you're going to have access to now right at your fingertips within the system. We can also save banking information to make it easier for you right in your employer account for streamlined future payments. Next slide. Another thing that we're doing is we're going to have the ability to save time filing wage reports with a streamlined wage reporting. There are a lot of different options in the future once we go live for these wage reportings. MyUI Employer Plus is going to offer more reporting and upload options for users. Our employers and TPAs will be able to upload wage reports with multiple different file upload options. And the wage reports will also automatically trigger updates to qualification information on the employer account if applicable. So the files are going to remain the same. They're going to be delimited, ISESA, ESW2, or XML. We're not changing much so that we can make it streamlined for you all. With a big modernization, a lot of change happening, we wanted to keep as much the same for the future as we could. One of my favorite options is right inside the system, you're going to be able to select and upload the same wage information from the previous quarter. So you can basically duplicate last quarters and make changes and submit it. You can make your wage adjustments right inside your employer account. You can search and view your previous wage reports, and you can assign multiple contacts to receive the automatic correspondences and reminders. You're going to be able to take control of your account. We really, when we developed this system, we really put on a hat and said, what do our employers need and what do our TPAs need? And one of the things was a user-focused account management. We wanted you to have it right at your fingertips, really easy to be able to use. So you're going to be able to manage your business. The system, MyUI Employer Plus, will allow employers, TPAs, leasing companies, all access to view and maintain employer account information. You're also going to get an inbox, an employer inbox, which will send automated reminders, messages, and correspondences based on the events and triggers in the system and in your account. So it's going to be the right information at the right time for you. There's also multiple search options to find all different types of information right in the system, your documents, your reports, your benefit charges, your rate information, all of that is right there. So we really tried to build in self-service account management with less reliance on the UI staff. With this, you can view and initiate information changes on the employer homepage. You can choose for automated electronic correspondences instead of paper forms. So what this will mean is there'll be an email that'll send out that says you've got something to view, and you can go right into the system and view it in your inbox. You can respond to fact-finding requests instantly right there in the system. And it's a one system to search and view employer account information. It's going to be a better way to connect with us. So this is my favorite part of the system. It is customer service when you need it. So this is a really great functionality of the system that we added in to better support you and help you. So how can we help you? In an effort to better serve you, our Colorado employers, the TPAs and leasing companies, MyUI Employer Plus will offer a new way to request help from UI staff. We're making it very robust with a built-in Contact Us feature that will allow account managers to send inquiries directly to UI staff. So what does this mean? It's right there in the system. You're going to have the ability for electronic customer service requests to reduce phone holding and transfer times. The staff, if you are calling in and talking to a staff member who is not able to assist you, you're going to now have the option to be transferred to another phone line, or the staff can initiate a Contact Us request so that we can contact you back. The inquiries are automatically routed to the proper department. You have the ability to upload documentation for UI staff review. So no longer do you need to fax it, mail it, pigeon carrier it to us. It's going to be right there in the system. You can just upload it and we will have it there on your employer account to view and make the changes. You can also submit urgent customer service requests right there in the system. Employers and TPAs. I know a good amount of employers have a TPA that represents them. And so in the past, this has not been as robust as we could make it. So we are able to actually now make the user roles for our TPAs so that they have access to what you want them to have access to. So employers will view, maintain, and specify their TPA relationship right inside the system. The users are going to have more independent capabilities and options to manage their relationships and the individual profiles. TPAs will have their own profile, and they'll be able to conduct actions on behalf of their employers without owning the employer account. And they can administer multiple client accounts from their profile. We want you all, the employers, to own your employer accounts, but let the TPAs have access to what you need them to have access to. So no more UITL 18 power of attorney to update the TPA roles and relationships, as well as there's going to be separate logins for employers and TPAs to keep that account ownership integrity. TPAs can be assigned any combination of roles to conduct business for their employers, and there's going to be new employer TPA relationships. So with this new system, the TPAs are going to be able to see all of their employer accounts through their login, conduct all the business, file all the wages, make all the payments that they need to right from their own account. So let's take a look at it again. What are we getting out of this system, MyUI Employer Plus? Easier payments. It's going to be easy online premium payments. The system is going to automatically determine what you owe and let you know. Faster wage reports. We streamlined the process, gave you multiple options to help you submit your wage reports. Self-service account management, really user-focused functionalities and capabilities. You're going to be able to have clarity into your account and be able to see what you need to see to do your business. On-demand customer service, remember this is my favorite, the help you need when you need it. We're also building into some of our processes to reach out to our employers. If you're having a difficult time making a payment, we're going to reach out and help you walk you through it. With this new system, the staff will be able to see what the employer sees as well. So we'll be able to walk you through it, as well as we're creating some user guides to help you and some videos, I think. TPA and employer collaboration. It's just all around a better way to manage your team and to have the TPAs manage the employer accounts. And Cher, I think it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Julie. We have a lot of questions and coming into the Q&A, which is great. And we'll have our experts continue to manage those and monitor that. Few ways for you to stay in touch with us and receive updates on this project. We did receive a question in the Q&A about the launch date. So right now we are poised to launch this fall with a date coming out very soon. If you subscribe to our communications or visit our website, we'll be publishing that date very soon, as I said, so early fall at this point. We have a variety of employer emails and bulletins available specifically on this project, but all unemployment insurance news. So you can sign up for all of this content at coloradoui.gov. The link directly to the employer page is here on the deck. We will be sending out this deck and a recording of the webinar following today's webinar, and of course on social media. We also look forward to your feedback and input about the system once it's live. So we will be offering a variety of opportunities for you to complete user surveys and let us know how the system is performing for you. So I think with that, Julie, we do have our experts responding to some questions, but let's go ahead and see if we can circle back and help them get through some of these. Question, Julie, is will bulk uploading be available through the website instead of using FTP?
Absolutely. The new system actually has some options. So there's 3 different layers. One is, and it's based off file size. So if the file size is small enough, then the system will ingest the file and produce the results right then and there. The next layer is if the file size is large enough to be in the system, but we need to do some batch processing to not pull the system down while processing the file, and that'll happen overnight. And then the other option is files over 20 megabytes have to be done through the FTP file transfer, which is going to be AWS Family Transfer. And we'll get all of the TPAs and employers set up who need that AWS Family Transfer.
Thanks, Julie. I will go ahead and take this one. Question coming in about any thought on combining family with MyUI Plus for reporting and payments. Have one interface would make things more efficient. Could not agree more, Richard. Unfortunately, the timing with these two systems was such that we could not combine them into one integration, but that is our long-term goal. It really would make more sense as an employer to have to utilize only one system when supplying very similar reports and payments to one agency. So that is our ultimate goal. It will not be available for this go live, but we hope future integration is a possibility. Let's see, Julie, how about this one? As a TPA, will we need to re-register clients when the new portal goes live? Will they keep their existing account numbers?
Those are two really great questions. So for starters, the employer account numbers are going to change a little bit. We're going to have some information coming out on that as well. They will be very similar, but we're taking out the distribution points and adding some leading zeros. The current employer account numbers will still be accepted in the system if you do an upload file. We have that technology to take both for now. And then as far as the TPAs needing to re-register their clients, we are excited to say that we are going to be associating our TPAs that are currently filing for our employers at Go Live. So you will not need to re-register your current employers. We will put a caveat in that if there are any changes during Q3 of 2023, those associations will need to be made at Go Live because we're taking Q2 data to make that association. And we'll work you through with some user guides on that.
Thanks, Julie. A question around QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks Online. Federal wage and tax filing and payment is available through QuickBooks. Will similar wage and tax filing be available through QuickBooks for the state of Colorado? Or any of my experts who want to weigh in?
I might be able to take that one, Cher. So we are not going to be interfacing with QuickBooks as we do now. However, if you create your report in QuickBooks and then just plug in the information, generally that's correct. However, there was a question earlier about if there's a mismatch on the premiums owed. Generally, that can be a rate issue. And so as a reminder, the MyUI Employer Plus system will be the system of record. It will have the most correct information. So we are creating it in such a way that it is very user-friendly. We recommend that you just do all of that data entry within the system, but there will not be an interface with QuickBooks.
Thanks, Megan. Another question, how many employees can access an employer account?
There is going to be one administrator on the account, but you can give access to an unlimited number of additional users on the account.
Thanks, Julie. We've received this question in webinars and meetings in the past. Is this going to be in effect with third quarter filing or fourth quarter filing?
That would be third quarter filings.
A little hint about when we might be deploying this, since that's how our answer to that question. But again, stay tuned. Hope to announce an official go live date very soon. Let's see here. Not sure if our folks can answer this. So for uploads, will we receive any kind of confirmation that will tell us the amount due for that quarter, allowing for rate changes and credit balances by employer uploaded? Do we need more info on that one?
I think I might need more info on that one. Megan?
I was trying to find that question. Can you reread that for me, Cher?
Sure, Megan. So for uploads, will we receive any kind of confirmation that will tell us the amount due for that quarter, allowing for rate changes and credit balances by employer uploaded?
So I think I understand this is likely coming from a TPA perspective. If there is a rate change, since you all have done your internal calculations for your clients, will that kind of calibrate? And the answer technically is yes. Ultimately, you do still need to do the FTP upload and allow the system to review the data. But you will be able to see after uploading if there is a difference in the amount owed before you submit your electronic bulk payment for your clients. Hopefully I targeted that question. If there's an add-on, please just go ahead and add it into the Q&A box.
Thanks, Megan. A lot of TPA questions. Let's see. As a TPA, we have over 160 employers, and not all are good about assigning us as their TPA on the agency website. When we bulk file, we need to be able to file for clients that have not assigned us as their TPA.
I can take that one. At Go Live, they'll have to make that employer TPA relationship. We did have a suggestion from some of our TPAs that we're going to be implementing after Go Live, where the TPA can send us new employers that they are representing, which we're still kind of figuring out the details, but we're thinking that it will ingest the file, and then we will send a notification to the employers to accept that TPA relationship to make it easier.
Thanks, Julie. Just a reminder, we will be sharing the recording out with registered participants, and also the slide deck. Both will be available on our website. Let's see. Will we be able to apply any credit balance directly against payment owed?
I can take that one. The system actually is very robust in the credit processing. So if you do have a credit on your account, say you go in and you pay and then you need to adjust and that creates a credit on your account, you have two options. You can request that credit to be refunded, or you can apply it to the balance that's due.
Thanks, Julie. This is a good question. Will there be a downtime when we can't log in? We attempted to log in earlier this week to find historical information. We asked to re-input some information, and there certainly are dark times when we deploy any new technology system. Julie, do you want to speak to that, or Megan?
I sure can. We are currently figuring out exactly when that dark time will start, but as Cher said, there will be some dark time that will be happening. We're hoping to minimize it over the week and do more on the weekend of that go live date, but more information will come out about that once we finalize exactly how long it takes to get all of the data out of the system and convert it and get it into the new system.
I think we maybe touched on this already, but let's just go to this one. Please discuss how to register businesses setting up payroll, how the process is to obtain a number. So this is about registration overall. Julie or Megan?
I can take this one. For TPAs, it is very easy. It's very minimal information. You go in and you basically say, I'm a new TPA, fill out a couple pieces of data, and then you get your TPA number that you can use to give to employers to associate their accounts to you. As far as the employer registration goes, you have two options. You can go through MyBiz Colorado as well as through our system. If there is any additional information that is not captured through the MyBiz application, it will send you to our system to finish the application. If you go through the MyUI Employer Plus application, it asks a robust number of questions and leads you down kind of a choose your own adventure based off of the answers so that we can ask you the right pertinent questions that you need to get the right employer account information.
Thanks, Julie. We have a couple questions about integration with the state's new paid family leave program, and will there be an opportunity to provide similar payments and reports to one agency? That would be the end goal, and that's certainly something we're working toward. However, the deployment timelines for these two projects did not align themselves such that they could be in one system, but that would be our ideal goal. We realize that you are now interacting with two different divisions within one agency, and so that certainly is our end goal. But for the short term, they will be within 2 different systems. Let's see. I think Julie's answering that one, but let's take it live. Our company uses payroll run by ADP. What TPA update do we need to do in this case?
So at Go Live, if your TPA is currently doing business for you in Q2 of 2023, that association will be made at Go Live. If it is a new TPA in Q3 of 2023, then that will need to be manually made within the system.
Perfect. Just a reminder, we did reach capacity very early, and I think our live stream link may not have made it to the Zoom information, so we apologize about those technical difficulties, but a recording of the webinar and the slides will be sent out to all participants and also posted on our website. Let's see, will the new system support bulk ACH debit and credit payments?
Yes, so the new system will definitely accept bulk payments with ACH debit.
Easy question.
And it's really easy to do too, Cher.
Good. We love that, Julie. I just want to know, because we did receive a few questions about future webinars. This is the first in a series. So we will be holding these over the next few weeks in a regular cadence to provide you similar information, but we also hope to, at one of our webinars, preview some screens so you can get a look at what the screens will look like, and also a TPA specific webinar. We have been working with a group of TPAs on the development and some initial user testing and user feedback, and that feedback so far has been very positive, but we do hope to have a TPA specific webinar as well. And Julie, if there's anything you would like to answer live, or Megan, just let me know. And let's see. For a TPA to make payments, can payments be made from each client's bank account?
They sure can. So there is an option in your TPA account to go into each individual employer and make a payment right then and there, or you can do it as a bulk payment from the main TPA. So you do have that option.
I'm not sure if we're able to answer this question. We had some questions about rounding, but at the beginning of family, the system had an issue with rounding, which made the premiums incorrect. What is our approach to rounding in the new system?
I don't know if we have an approach necessarily to rounding, but we are doing some robust testing on all of our, especially the payment functionality and the rate running.
Great, thanks, Julie. I have employers that still file paper copies and send checks. Do they have to have an account set up before processing the third quarter reporting and file and pay electronically? Megan, do you want to take that one? Sorry, caught you when you were responding to other questions.
You did. I'm sorry, Cher. Can you repeat the question?
I certainly can try and find it. Here. It was about
that they get bumped down as I'm looking.
Yeah, it was about clients who still send paper responses and mail checks. And the question was, if somebody can help me navigate here, what will be the process in the new system?
Okay, if I think I understand correctly, if they're currently paper filers, we will require a waiver moving forward. And we are currently working on establishing this waiver for access either through our call center or on our website. We also will be able to accept waiver requests over the phone and do an authorization immediately by calling our call center. And I put the number in the chat a couple of places, but I'll also add it for our groups there. But we will not be accepting paper reporting. We will have a buffer period, which is to be determined, where we will not enforce the electronic filing requirement immediately, but we will be moving towards a mandate to file wage reports electronically, unless you are a waivered employer. And waivered employers will have to show good cause for why they need to be waived. For example, they live in a very remote area with limited access to internet. Perhaps they are a more established business in a small town that they don't have the ability to use the computer. They don't have access to a computer. So those will be the types of situations where we will authorize waivers.
Thanks, Megan. Question here is, I'm a TPA but do not have my own account. I use employer logins directly to file. How can I get it set up so my account is active and I have my employers associated before the Q3 reporting deadline?
I can take that one. We are super excited to get you set up. We are going to be reaching out to TPAs to get their accounts set up, and then we're going to be running the file to associate those employers. So the only thing that you'll be involved in is setting up your TPA account. Everything else will happen in the background and you'll be ready to go.
Thanks, Julie. A good question about how will we know when it's live to sign in? A variety of ways, and we hope that we can broadcast this as soon as we have the official go live date. So if you want to visit our website, sign up for our newsletter, you can subscribe at our website. I have one of my colleagues include that in the follow-up to today's session. And we'll be issuing a statewide press release. We'll be working with the state chamber, the local chambers. So we hope that to get that in front of our employer partners as soon as it's confirmed. And if you do receive our employer email now, of course, we will be publishing it in that recurring communication as well. Let's see. And I just want to do a quick time check because we still have a number of unanswered questions. Today's webinar and the slides will be sent out afterward, and any questions we do not get to hopefully have been answered in the webinar. If not, we will add those, attempt to add the answers to our FAQ section on our website. Let's see, we use QuickBooks Desktop. Can we start using the online version to pay our state taxes again? The last 2 months have been returned. Not sure that that's directly related to the system, but we've had a number of QuickBooks questions. Julie or Megan, do you want to, maybe we need more information from this one?
I think we might need more information. Megan, do you?
I think this is in line with some of the other answers I've provided. Essentially, QuickBooks software that does the where you input all of your payroll data that then spits out a report. We won't interface with that software. If you hit submit through that software, it does not come to us. Also, there was a clarification from somebody about QuickBooks payroll service. If you continue to use QuickBooks payroll service, they will have to register as a TPA, and you will then have to authorize them if they're not already associated with you currently. And they will then do the reporting on your behalf through their TPA uploads. So again, we do not interface with any tax software, any accounting software, any work that you are doing with those companies. They will have to register as a TPA, or you yourself will have to input that data into the MyUI Employer Plus system.
Thanks, Megan. Not sure about this one. Did we hear correctly that you or someone will be changing employers' SUTA numbers?
The employer account numbers will be changing slightly, and more information will come out about that.
Thanks, Julie. Do we apply for ACH now or when the new program is up and running?
That will be when the new system is up and running. Everything will be set up and established then.
Thanks, Julie. Lots of TPA questions, which again, this is the first of a series of webinars, and we will hold a TPA specific webinar. So additional dates and times will be sent to all of today's participants and also posted on our website. Let's see. Will we be able to set up a new username?
Yes, I think you'll have to set up a new username. We're going to send out information to activate your new account.
who needs to request the waiver, the employer, or can I request this for my clients? And for those who maybe didn't catch a few minutes ago, we discussed the paper waiver versus electronic filing. Julie, do you want to take that one?
Ooh, share. That's a good one. That one has me stuck. I think the TPA can do it on behalf of the employer.
Yes, we would accept the TPA authorizing as long as they are authorized, which I understand, we're having authorization occur through the MyUI Employers Plus system, which may not happen for these employers who are requesting waivers. So I would imagine this is going to be a really small population. So we will work with you on a case-by-case basis if you do need to act on behalf of your client for waivers.
Julie, do you want to speak to the current user acceptance testing that we're going through? I think have identified a group of employers to help us test on the end user side. So there are a variety of user acceptance testing efforts underway. Do you want to speak to any of those, Julie?
Absolutely. We have completed one TPA session with our TPAs and then one smaller TPA session for our AWS Family Transfer FTP service. So the current FTP is going to be going away and will be replaced by AWS Family Transfer. But don't worry, we have only identified about 10 TPAs that have a file size large enough to need that AWS Family Transfer. So we're doing some targeted approaches on that. We're also going to be doing our employer walkthrough of the system. So the beginning part is where we get the employers logged into the account. We walk them through where certain aspects of the account are, how they would do certain things. And then my team leads through how to do additional functionality that we have set up to demo, such as filing a wage report, getting errors on a wage report, and then making some wage report adjustments, as well as filing payments. We have the employer session that is coming up, but I think, Cher, we're going to be doing some additional sessions because we've gotten a lot of really, really great feedback and suggestions from our TPA population. So we're really excited about the employer population as well.
Thanks, Julie. How will I know if my TPA is already associated with my business UI account?
That's a good question. If they're currently filing your wage reports for you, then they are. If they're currently doing the claims benefits forms, then they are. Also, if you have a power of attorney relationship with them, that UITL 18, they should be associated with you. Once we go live, you'll be able to see that association on your employer account as well. And you can make changes, as well as have different TPAs set up to do different functionality on your account.
Speaking of power of attorney, will the power of attorney form no longer be necessary to represent a client and discuss client information? I think we kind of touched on that, but Julie?
Yes, absolutely. We will no longer need to fill that out and send it back to us. It is going to be right in the system. So right there at your fingertips, really easy to do.
After the new system launches, would there be any benefit to continue using FTP for wage reporting?
That's a good question. So the FTP will be replaced by the AWS Family Transfer, but then the functionality will basically be the same as putting the file right into the system. For those larger files, it's going to either process overnight or in the system, or it's going to process overnight in the FTP. So it's really the same. Really, it's easier, I think, to do it within the system. We do on the AWS Family Transfer, we have established that as long as that file is there by 10 p.m., it'll be processed overnight. But really, it's kind of similar. So you don't really gain anything by doing that FTP.
I think this is one we've not addressed, Julie or Megan. What does the multi-factor authentication process look like for the new system?
Good question. So it is similar to our claimant system. It's going to be the exact same, where you can choose to have an authenticator app as well as a text or an email option. So you'll be able to establish that right when you establish your employer account.
Great. Will the new system roll over the employees from one quarter to the next? Currently, Family does not do this.
You will be able, oh, Megan, you want to take that one? I saw you nodding.
I was nodding my head. Yes. So once you do the input of your first wage report, any existing employees that come from the current quarter to the next quarter will roll over. You will have the opportunity to make adjustments or changes at the time that you're filing for the new quarter. But yes, those will follow into the next quarter filing.
This is one we've not yet answered, I don't believe. Are we able to look for historical filings from the new system?
Yes, we are bringing that with us. For the most part, it will be current year plus 5 years, with the exception of some employers, which will bring more data with them, depending on the status of the account and what we deemed needed to come. But yes, you'll be able to at least look back those 5 years.
Thanks, Julie. So during our presentation, we did at the top of the presentation speak to the modernization efforts on the benefits side of the house. And this really is designed to bring both benefits and premiums into one system. So the question is, will this modernization include any updates to the claim side of the system? Right now, we are unable to add PDF documents for backup. Also, the current way we are required to respond to these claims can be frustrating. Maybe we can speak about the integration of the two systems. Or not.
Megan, do you want to jump on that one?
I'm sorry, I was having audio issues. Sherry, you cut out on me.
Oh, shoot. Here we go. I have it here, Megan. I was just referencing that during the pandemic, we modernized our benefits side of our two systems. And so the question is essentially about the any updates as we have this now integration or modernization of both benefits and premiums. And the question is, will this modernization including any updates to the claim side of the system?
Yes. Okay.
Great.
You. Thank you. Yes. So essentially the biggest change is going to be an integration of kind of pulling those pieces together. The side system, if you usually a TPA, but if you are a user of that, that will continue to exist. However, we will have the ability to file wages, make payments, and respond to claims. File an appeal, all within the MyUI Employer Plus platform. So we are kind of pulling some of these pieces that currently exist a little bit globally into one system.
Thanks, Megan. Will we be able to schedule payments in a month other than when the payment is due, meaning in June for a payment that is withdrawn in July?
There are certain parts of the system where you could do a future payment, which is a really great option.
I'm not sure that my experts that we have a definitive answer on this, but I'll ask anyway. If an employer applies for their account through MyBiz Colorado, what information will they need to provide when they are registering their admin user with MyUI Employer Plus?
Ooh, what will they need to for their admin users? So basically the process will go that you go into MyBiz and the questions will be similar to what it is now. And this will be for new employers only. So if you're a current employer in our account, you do not need to do that MyBiz registration. We're going to send out information for that registration piece to activate your new account. So the MyBiz application will ask the general typical questions that it asks now. But then when you get to certain points where say it is an agricultural employer or a nonprofit, a 501c3, it will direct you to the MyUI Employer Plus system. And when it directs you, it will bring over some of the information that you've already entered. So you won't have to start over from scratch. Once you enter that information in, you're going to get an employer account number. So that's when you're going to go in and register your administrator account. And it is very basic information to register that admin account.
Thanks, Julie. I'm wondering if our moderator can go back to slide 14, since we did have some folks who joined late. This is, and again, the deck will be shared out along with the recording following the webinar. If my moderator can go back to slide 14, this provides just a summary of next steps for employers and TPAs. And as I mentioned, we will be holding a specific webinar for TPAs to walk through some of the specifics. Anything here, Julie, that you want to remind folks of, since we had some folks joining late, lots of questions in the chat about the TPA relationship and the registration process.
Yeah, lots of information and questions about the TPAs. If you have more questions on your specific TPA, I would say reach out to the methods at the very end of the slide, and we're going to be sending this out as well. But for the TPAs, the association for the employer accounts is going to be established based off of the Q2 filings. So if you, the TPA, filed on behalf of the employer for Q2, then your account should be associated. There are a couple questions for specific TPAs. If you want to reach out, we can make sure that you are on our list of TPAs for these employers as we go through some data validation on these associations. And also the UITL 18 power of attorney is no longer going to be needed. It can be done right in the system.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
We've got some clarification. Let's see if we can address this. A user had a previous question about the integration of the two systems, and their follow-up question is, will the UI side of the system be updated in the way we are able to respond to claims? Updates needed to current selections we are given and submit PDF documents with our response.
I can take that one, Cher.
Thanks.
Yes, so you will be able to have a much more dynamic option for responding to claims, such as uploading documentation or proof along with your responses. It will be much more in line with the formatting that exists currently for the claims processing side. So if you have any familiarity at all with that, that will be much more aligned, hopefully streamlining some of that handoff. So we will also have an option for you to submit inquiries via the system for clarification, which will then be escalated to the appropriate unit for response. And so if there is a need that we're not meeting, we're taking feedback via that option and also providing you with an opportunity to ask any questions for clarification or feedback there.
Thanks, Megan. If our moderator can go to slide 16, we have just about 10 minutes, but I did want to, again, remind everyone how you can stay connected with us. We do have recurring emails. If you receive our employer email, there's about 85,000 employers that receive that. You can subscribe for that to that tool, or we also just deployed a new bulletin specific to this project. So all of the opportunities to stay in touch with us are available on our website as well as social media. Lots of questions about the deployment date. When we say fall of this year, we do recognize fall is just around the corner. And as I mentioned, we do hope to share an official launch date here in the coming weeks. Not sure if we can answer this one. If we bulk filed on the current FTP site for Q2, does that mean you will automatically assign us as their TPA in the new system?
So if you filed Q2 wages for the employers, you will be associated with those employers at Go Live. And then Cher, we got one through email about the account activation and how people will be notified. So right at Go Live, we are going to notify employers via email or mail. You will be notified via email if we have your email address on file with your employer account. Much easier way, because all you do is you click a link and it associates. If we do not have your employer email account, email address on your account, then we will send you out a mailed version of it at Go Live. So you'll receive instructions with a code on where to go and what to type in.
Thanks, Julie. A question about sides. With the current side system, because there will be so much overlap in the systems, will we need to respond to claims in both places or just one? Will the two systems talk to each other? Will sides eventually go away because there's so much overlap?
I don't think sides is going away. But if you do respond via sides, you do not need to respond in the system. And we do have logic in the system that if you are a registered sides employer or TPA, that you will get notified in the system, but you will not be able to respond in the system. It'll only be in sides. So you won't have to respond in both places.
A question about the account protocols in the new system. Can you give us an example of how an employer account number will change? Giving some examples, and what will the new EIN be?
I sure can. So it's going to be an 8-digit account number. Right now, it is a string of numbers. I think it's 6 plus 2 of the distribution points, which are mostly 00, and then a dash, and then a digit, a check digit. What we're doing is we're taking those 2 mostly zeros out, that distribution point out. So it'll be a string of 6 numbers plus that last digit, and then it'll have some leading zeros at the beginning. So it's going to be a version of your current account number. So we're not going to be assigning just brand new random account numbers to you.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah. And also share in the employer account activation emails and mailings, we will show you what your new employer account number is. So we're going to give it to you.
Great. Okay, I think we have time for a few more here.
I know such great questions coming in. I'm trying to type as fast as I can.
Really good questions. I don't know that we've addressed this one. If an employer's account is closed and needs to be reinstated later on, will they need to re-register and acquire a new account number, or can the account be reopened and the account number remains the same? And I think you kind of just mentioned the new account numbers. Do you want to touch on that one?
Yeah, definitely. It depends on what status the account has been put in. If it's a terminated account, meaning it's super old, then you will need to re-register as a new employer. But if it's in a suspended status, meaning it's just been a few years, a few months, and you need to reactivate, you'll be able to reactivate that existing account. And we're also bringing over current suspended employer accounts from our current system, CATS, into the new system. So we're not leaving those behind.
Perfect. And just because we do have a lot of TPA questions and a lot of questions around the association between the employer and the TPA, can you go over again, Julie, how somebody would know if they are associated as a TPA with an employer account, or what that process would look like?
Absolutely. If they're currently filing for you, then they would be an associated TPA to the employer account. You can, if you do have specific questions about your TPA relationship with your employers, you can reach out, and we'll, as we validate our files, we'll make sure to include that information. And then anything that changes in that Q3 will need to be reestablished. So we're taking that Q2 data to make it easier for our employers and TPAs. And then someone had a question about the new employer account number. So I forgot to mention there would be no dash anymore. So it would be leading zeros plus the 6, and then that last number with no dash. So it'll be one solid number. Thank you, anonymous attendee who asked that.
There was a question here around how many users. Let's see if I can find that. I think somebody may have answered it, so it disappeared.
And Cher, if I could clarify one thing on the TPA piece, I'm seeing a lot of questions come through about us no longer accepting reports from QuickBooks, for example, or interfacing. I want to just kind of clarify that if you use a TPA or a payroll service that does these reports on your behalf, the only change that's happening is that they will no longer be able to paper file. And that's generally what we see, especially for QuickBooks. We get bulk boxes of paper filings from those clients. And so nothing is changing in terms of us being allowed to continue to work with those TPAs on your behalf. You as kind of that employer user will not really actualize any change. I just want to clarify that we are not changing anything there as far as the relationship with TPAs. It's more, how do they get the information to us? And that is, again, going to be, they are required to register for a TPA account and then waiver requests for their clients if they do need to continue to paper files. So no changes there. We will continue to be able to accept reports from TPAs. They just need to do so online. So just a clarification point there.
Thanks, Megan. Let's try and get to a couple more. Our experts have answered more than 120 questions, so good job getting us through these. There was maybe we want to clarify the ACH debit but not credit issue, either Julie or Megan?
Yeah, so we are going to be able to accept ACH debit and not credit right at go live. We are working through a banking RFP, so a proposal and a new contract with the Treasury. Once that is established, then we're going to look at that ACH credit option as well. There will be an option to type in your information in the system, do bulk payments and all of that, and save your information.
Thanks, Julie. As I mentioned, maybe we can get to one more before we reach the end of the webinar today. Today's webinar recording and the slide deck will be sent out to all registered participants and posted on our website at coloradoui.gov. Also, this is the first of a series of webinars, and since we have so much inquiry and interest from our TPA community, one of those webinars will be focused just on the TPA impact and all of the things related to employer account registration. Let's see if we can get to one more before we close out. Not sure what the protocols would be for changes in the new system, but would the new system have a function for filing new hire reports?
That is a good question. Megan, do you know anything about new hire reports?
Yes, that is actually not managed by the Department of Labor and Employment. And I believe it is through DORA. And you will continue to do new hire reporting through that portal. So we will not have an opportunity for you to do that through the UI system.
Thanks, Megan. With that, we are at the end of our hour. We certainly appreciate everyone's participation and interest. We also, again, want to remind folks that the official go live date will be released very soon, and you can stay connected with us through our employer email and our new newsletter on this project specifically. You can subscribe to both on our website at coloradoui.gov. Appreciate your interest, and we'll be presenting more content to our employer community very soon. Thank you so much for joining.